I'd like to speak tonight on insecurity. Insecurity. I'm a little insecure about being up here. When I look out the sea of faces, I had another skirt on earlier. I don't know if you noticed it or not. It was a camel-colored skirt. I believe that's the color you could call it. But I dropped some grease on it, and I was afraid y'all would see it too well, you know, especially these ones on the front row. And I was afraid it'd bother you if you're a perfectionist. So I changed to a dark blue. If it doesn't match as well, please forgive me. But insecurity, you know, when you think about insecurity, what do you think of? Do you think of times when you just feel like going and crawling away from people and being quiet and sort of secluding yourself away from people? Insecure? Me, when I'm insecure, I talk more. You know what? I talk a lot. I talk more. I say stupid things. Don't you wish you could say stupid things where nobody was around to hear you? You know, like sit in the bathroom and say, that's where I go for private times. You know, in a motorhome, there's not many places where there's doors where people will leave you alone. You know what I mean? So I go in the bathroom, shut the door, and I sit there with the, you know, I don't want to explain. Never mind. You know what picture it the right way, what I'm trying to say. But, you know, so you go in the bathroom and you'd sit there and say something that makes you feel stupid. Well, nobody's hearing it, so it doesn't matter. You know, so you don't feel stupid. It's okay that I said it. Well, recently, and again I say to you, I wish I am 52 years old. I wish I could say this happened to me 20 years ago. You know how, are you like that? I wish I could go back and say, this happened to me when I was newly married. But it didn't happen to me when I was newly married. It happened about 2 months ago. And God always gives me illustrations about myself, you know, that tells you how bad I am. Well, so when I get nervous, I talk a lot. I talk fast, you know. And we were at a church that we hadn't been to very often. And when we were there, the man wanted us to come do a sound check. You know, we sing. Had to do a sound check, so we came in to do the sound check, and things were going a little slower than I thought it should go. You know what I mean? So I thought I was supposed to help it go faster. You know, because there was somebody going to take us out to eat, and food's important to me. You know, on those couples retreats, you only have this much time for, you know, the meal, and I wanted to allow myself plenty of time to go to that barbecue place. So it wasn't going fast enough, so I started talking to the man that was in charge, and I was just joking around with him, and, you know, yeah, you know, how's it feel having these hillbillies here? And, you know, I was talking like that, you know, and I was just saying lots of things. And you know what, I wish all three of our children were there, which is another thing. I wish they weren't all there. You know, if it was just Joe, it'd be a little bit better because there's only one of them seeing how stupid their mother is, you know. Have you ever made a fool in front of your children? And they go, oh. I have often asked my older children, I say, have I embarrassed you very much? They said, Mom, we got used to you early. That's not a compliment. But anyway, so I'm talking too much and all that. And have you ever been doing something and your husband wants you to stop? Now, those of you that are real nice, sweet ladies, I could imagine this would happen with, you know, Mrs. Scott, you know, because you're so sweet, right? Aren't you sweet? Very, very sweet. Where when you're saying something you shouldn't say, he'd come up, like, just grab your hand and squeeze it a little bit, right? You know, he'd have to take my hand like that. Or else, you know, maybe he'd come up and put his arm around you and pat you, and, you know, that's not pat you there, but pat you here, you know. That's telling you, you know, it's time to stop. Well, my husband knows that I don't take things, you know, it takes a little bit more than just a squeeze to get me to wake up. So he came up to me and he said, I think you need to settle down. I couldn't believe I did it. I made the poor man have to come up and say that to me. Now, nobody else heard it. I think my kids knew it happened because immediately I sat down on a chair. And when I know that I've been out of control, I put my shoulders in like this. I get smaller. You know, body language, close up myself. So I sat down in this chair, and I was sitting there like this, real nice, and I knew my kids knew what happened. I asked them later, did you know what happened? Yeah, Dad got on you, didn't he? You know, one of the things about living in a 40 by 10, you know, when it's open it's 10, but one of the things about everybody knows everything. You know, everything. Lots of things. You know, you can try to argue. and it's hard to argue in there. I had to take my husband out of the motorhome the other day and talk to him because I wanted to have a good fight. No. But do you understand what I'm saying about insecurity? Do you know we all have insecurities? At some time or another, we're insecure. We have seasons of time when we're insecure. We have different reasons why we're insecure. I'm going to talk about that, but I want to tell you something. Insecurity refers to a profound sense of self-doubt. I might act like I can get up here and all just, and all these speakers, they get up here and act like, oh, this is nothing to get, but there's a little bit of you that right before you come up the steps, you think, am I going to blow it? Like you did last year, almost cussing in front of everybody. And you ladies that come up to me and say, I loved it last year when you almost said that because I relate to you. That doesn't make you feel good. It's okay. But a profound sense of self-doubt, a deep feeling of uncertainty about your basic worth and our place in the world. That's what insecurity is. Insecurity is associated with a chronic. When I say insecurity, I'm not talking about when you have a few feelings of it. I'm talking about a chronic self-consciousness. That's the kind of person that walks around, am I okay? Does this look all right? Are you sure it's okay? Did I say anything to offend? They're always come up to you, did I say anything to offend you? If I did, I didn't mean to. Forgive me for the last 10 years of all the things I've said. Matter of fact, just forgive me for all the things I've thought about you. No. Insecurity, along with a chronic lack of confidence in ourselves and an anxiety about our relationship. Those of you that, some of you drive your relatives crazy trying to get assurance of how good you are. You just, oh, am I okay? Am I okay? Is this all right? Do you still like me? Do you still, are you the one that, honey, do you still love me? Are you sure you still love me? Do you still think I'm beautiful? I never ask my husband that. I'm afraid he'll tell me the truth. It would make me insecure if I knew what he really thought about me. So the insecure woman lives in constant fear of rejection and a deep uncertainty about whether his or her own feelings and desires are legitimate. I'm going to springboard off of that to teach you about your feelings, number one. Number two is to tell you about causes of insecurity and try to inspire you to want to overcome some of your insecurities. Father, thank you for these ladies. We can't do this without you. I believe this is from you, but I'd like to know that you're speaking through me, so I'm just going to yield myself to you. I pray that you'll bless in a special way. Thank you for this church and all the work they put into it. Now, they want to see some fruit from it, so help us to see it. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Let me teach you something about your feelings. Put your left hand up, left hand. The left brain is in charge of your thinking and your conscious mind. Okay? So right now while I'm speaking, you're listening with your left side of your brain, if you're paying attention to what I'm saying. Left brain is it's the conscious mind, and it's listening to me, and it's the thinking and the conscious side. Now, put your right hand up. Right side is your feeling and your subconscious side. Okay? So left side is thinking and conscience, and right side is feeling and subconscious. Do you know how many of you are right brain dominated? I don't feel good. I feel like this. And I wonder if that's feel, especially in the cycle mode. So, feelings. What does God say about feelings? And those of us that do live by our right side of the brain. Genesis 6:5. God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. I really believe that God thinks that when we go by our feelings and our right brain, that we most of the time do evil things. If I feel threatened by you and it causes some insecurity, I'm going to say and do things I shouldn't do. Do you know why you're critical of other people? Most of the time it's because you're going by your feelings. I don't think she likes me. I don't feel like she cares about me, so I don't care about her. As a matter of fact, I just like to tell you all the things I think about her. That's feelings oriented. And what we need to do is go by our left brain, which is our thinking and conscious. When I'm thinking right, I don't want to say anything bad about anybody else. You know, you know why? Most of the reason I don't want you to say anything bad about me because, you know, you reap what you sow. I'm afraid you're going to talk about me when I leave you. You know, so that's what God thinks about it. Jeremiah 17:9. Jeremiah 17:9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Do you know my feelings? I can interpret what anybody says to me. You know, you can say to me, you look nice today. And I say, what do you mean? Is there something wrong? Is something out of place? You know who I can really misinterpret the best? Is my husband. He could say, I say, how do you like this meal? And he said, it's okay. I want to say, okay? What do you mean it's okay? Do you not like something about it? You know, and if he's being nice because he knows if he says it right there while we're eating it, I'm going to be hurt that I took the time to make it and he didn't like it. You know, he can tell me later on, don't fix that anymore. I'm trying to do diet things now, and I've created something that was really a mess. And you know when he pushes it around on his plate with a fork? You know there's something wrong with it. Because he just said how hungry he was. So I'm sitting there watching him push it around on his plate, and I say, is this good? And he'll say, oh yes, oh yes. And he doesn't finish anything else. You know, he doesn't say, oh yes, it's delicious, I really like it. How did you come up with this monstrosity? He doesn't say anything like that, but he just pushed it around. Well, so the heart is deceitful, but I can interpret. And that's my feelings is what I use, or what I use to interpret. Acts 8:22, repent therefore of this thy wickedness, and pray God, if perhaps the thought of thine heart may be forgiven thee. Why do you need to be forgiven thee? Because most of the times our thoughts and our heart and our feelings are things we need to ask forgiveness for. So, God never meant for us to be right brain dominated. Now you say, but God made women, and he made them to have so many feelings, and to be, you know, sensitive, and, you know, we can take up for ourselves all we want and say that's how we're supposed to be. But I don't believe God meant for it, because in James 1:8, the Bible says, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. I believe that when we're dealing with people, our relationships, when we're walking around in the world, we're supposed to be consciously using our left brain so that we're thinking through what we're saying, and we're saying things in the right way and having the right relationships. But if you are one that doubles over to your right brain and you go by your feelings a little bit, then that's when we get in trouble. So, what causes all the insecurity in our life? Let me give you 8 causes of insecurity. Okay, 8 causes of insecurity. Number 1, instability in the home. Instability in the home. This is a primal fear that no one will take care of you. This is a fear that you don't know what's going to happen the next. I grew up in a home where our Christmases were not, when I see the memories that people talk about up there, and when I hear them talking about their great memory of Christmas, I say, I'm so glad. But there's a whole host of us sitting in this room right now that we did not have good Christmases growing up. You know, I can remember one of my memories, not favorite memories, but one of my memories of Christmas is when my stepfather came home drunk. My mom had warned him. She had told him, you know, my mom, she's like Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies. And she had told Don, if you come home drunk, I'm going to make you sorry you did. And she did make him sorry. She bought him a brand new leather coat for Christmas. She unwrapped it in front of him while he's sitting on the couch like this. You know how drunks are. And she cut it up with a pair of scissors. I know, my mom's mean. You wonder why I'm mean. I take after her. She had bought him a new bowling ball for Christmas. You guessed it. She chipped that thing up so bad, nobody'd ever want to play with that bowling ball. But that's the kind of Christmas, unstable homes. You know, and I got touched when I was thinking about this, because I believe there's lots of you sitting in this room today, and you're living in an unstable home. It causes a lot of insecurities. You know, it might not be that kind of a situation, but maybe you don't know how your husband's going to react. Maybe he has a violent temper. Maybe you're living in a home where you have adult children coming in on you and just causing havoc all the time. Unstable homes. Number 2, a significant loss. A significant loss is a loss of a person. This could be a death in your family. It could a loss of a person, a possession, and even your innocence. Maybe some of you are sitting here, and as an unsaved person, you lost your innocence and you're still beating yourself up over it. It makes you feel insecure. You sort of walk around feeling like, I'm not worthy for anybody to talk to me because I'm so bad that I did this when you were unsaved. You can't forgive yourself. You just keep beating yourself over the head with it. Significant loss. I have lost all my possessions 4 times in my life. That seems like a lot, doesn't it? But you know what the good thing about it is? You get to buy new. Things that you like better. How many of you ever bought something and say, I wish I hadn't spent the money on that? I bought a little hairpiece one time. I thought, I got thin hair. I thought it'd be good to have some extra. Well, you know how these hairdressing people are in these places that want to give you these hair pieces? I got home and it was a brown piece of a hair. Do I have brown hair? I wanted to take it back and throw it at them. It was too far of a drive. But anyway, a significant loss can cause you to feel insecure. I know possessions are not who we are. I realize that. But however, it takes its toll on you emotionally. Number 3, rejection. A rejection is saying, I do not want you. The great illustration of that, when I walk into churches sometimes and I want to have a seat, I might say, is this seat taken? And if you look up at me and you say, that seat has been taken for years. That's rejection to me. You don't want me sitting there. I took a bath. That's what you want. You want to start explaining all these things, why you should let me sit there. Or you walk into a situation and you start to enter into the conversation, and people, when they're talking to you, they just say, yes, no, okay. They didn't say they didn't want you in the conversation, but that's their way of letting you know you're not welcome to be around here. That's rejection. When I was a teenager, I liked a boy named Bobby Reynolds. And my friend's name was Susie, and Susie was dating Bobby's friend. And so we walked, we were unsaved, Susie and I walked to a football game at a high school, and while we were there, Bobby and the friend came up to us. Now, are you ones like this, you dream, you add to things, and you think, this is what's going to happen. I was so excited. Bobby, I had always thought, wouldn't it be neat if Susie and her boyfriend and me and Bobby could get together? Oh, it'd be just so fun. Oh. So whenever they came up to us during the ball game, they sat with us. And I tried to be nice, and I tried to get Bobby to think I was so cute and fun, and he probably thought I was ignorant. But anyway, you'll know why later. But so after the ball game was over, they said, well, do you want to ride home? And of course, do you ever add to things? So when we said, yeah, we're just going to walk home, so you can give us a ride. And in my mind, as we're walking down the bleachers to go out of the football stadium and to go to the car, I'm thinking, this is going to be so neat. It'll be Susie and her boyfriend in the front seat and Bobby and I in the back seat. It'll be just like we're dating. Oh, maybe this will be the time when he starts liking me. Oh, this will be so great. So we go out to the car. It was a 2-door car. I even thought that was even better because, smaller back seat. We could sit closer, I wasn't saved. I didn't know anything about it. But anyway, so they open the car door. This is the truth. When I'm lying, I'll let you know. They open the car door. They put the front seat up, and they let me climb in the back. And, I climbed in, and I didn't sit right behind the passenger seat because I wanted to leave room for Bobby. So I climbed in, and I sat down a little bit over to the side, and they put the seat back up. The boyfriend got in the car, Susie got in the middle, and Bobby got in the front, and I rode in the back like this. That's rejection, isn't it? How many of you remember a situation like that? That's in your subconscious mind. It's going to affect you the rest of your life. No. But rejection could be any kind of rejection. As small as somebody making you feel like they don't want you to be around, to as big as that. Somebody just obviously saying, you are a dud. Number 4, dramatic change. Dramatic change. This might be you moving somewhere. This might mean change is something we all fear, so we become our own false prophets about change. I know I'm not going to like it in that new area. A lady was talking to me this year, and she said, my husband's talking about selling our house. And I don't know. We planned this house. We built this house, every bit of this house. And, I just don't want to get rid of it. I said, God leads by your husband. I'm saying this all the time. My husband's talking about selling our motorhome. I want to say, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to get rid of my house either. Let's all pray that God changes their mind. Aren't you like that? I want to empathize with you enough to make you understand. I really don't. But, you don't want change. Change is not something you look forward to, you don't like. So, when we had the wreck, I try to laugh when big changes come in my life. See the funny side of it. When we had the wreck 4 or 5 years ago, and we were traveling down an interstate, and we had a fifth wheel and a truck, and they both rolled, and when they rolled, the fifth wheel trailer became a flatbed trailer. It was completely flat. Now, inside that flatbed trailer, there was a bathroom. And in a bathroom, they have a toilet. Well, I had taken a little nap, so I'd be fresh to drive for Kevin. And so when I woke up, usually you want to use the restroom, but I didn't have time. We were having such a wreck, So my daughter, Jeannie, had also been laying down and taking a nap. When she woke up, we were into the wreck. So, neither of us, so we looked out. And it was dark, and it was just a mist of rain coming down. Just picture it, dark, mist of rain. You look down, and with the car lights coming this way as we're holding up traffic, you see this gigantic white toilet sitting in the middle. And you think, well, I just tried to find funny things. I laughed about cutting my feet. Oh, isn't that funny? You cut your feet on the glass. Isn't that stupid? But anyway, I just tried to find, there was lots of funny things. A man came up and wanted to take my children, put them in his car, and I said, I looked at him real, I was trying to make sure I was keeping my head, going by the left brain and not my feelings. I said, sir, I'll let them sit in your car if you'll put it right there where I can see them at all times, and they can see me, because if they see me, they'll be secure. I think, man, that man probably thought, she is such a weirdo. But I saw that toilet, and I said to Jeannie, I was trying to, be funny. I said, Jeannie, I said, see that out in the middle? And she said, yes. I said, do you need to use the restroom? She said, oh, yes, ma'am. I said, I do too. I said, what would you think if I went and found a blanket and I held it up for you, and then you held it up for me? Dramatic change. I did not do that. Believe me, I did not do that. But dramatic change. Things come in your life, you don't enjoy them, but you got to just find a way to look at the good at them. Number 5, personal limitations. If you're a handicapped person here, you have personal limitations in your life. I have personal limitations. I do not know music. You say, but Loretta, you sing. I don't know why God did this to me. I look at these little hoops things, in the songbooks, hoop things, like that. I don't even know anything about them. I just know they're black. They look good. And that's a limitation. Do you understand that? I was thinking, man, if we knew all that the Hamiltons knew, whoo, wouldn't that be something? But you know what? That's not what God wanted for me. And if I think about that, I could get very insecure. You don't want to major on your limitations. You want to use your limitations to spring forth and help you to do whatever you're supposed to do for God. Do you know I am very insecure about my grammar? Not my grandma, but my grammar. I don't know, you surely notice that I do double negatives, she ain't nothing, things like that. And if I thought about it, I could really feel like, I could never get up in front of people ever again because I don't know how to speak well. I came up to Brother Cox. It's such a prime example. I came up to Brother Cox when we first got here. I said, how you doing, preacher? And he said, I'm doing well. Now, to me, that just don't sound right. Because I'm speaking on this, I'm really trying to be more careful about my grammar. Not my grandma, but my grammar. And so when he said, I'm doing well, I think, should I start saying that? Then I went to somebody else, and you people in this Liberty, y'all talk right. You're not like me, I don't understand it. And so I have decided, this is what I can live with. When you come up to me and you say, how you doing? I'm going to say, great. I don't know if that's proper, but it's somewhere in between good, which is really bad, right? Yeah, I'm not good. And well, because I don't know that I'm well. But honest, I struggle with verb tenses. Smote. I was talking to the teenagers, and I said, something smited me in the heart. And they sort of did what you just did. Smited me? Smited me? And I said, that wasn't right, was it? And I said, what was it supposed to be? And they said, smote. I said, smote? Like smoking? No. Personal limitations. When you have personal limitations, attitude is everything. Are you going to sit back and say, I have these limitations, I can't do this, I can't. I don't worry about what I can't do. I just am out here trying to do what I can. And if I'm going to be insecure, I'm going to be held back a lot. I'm not going to accomplish much for God because I'm too worried about what everybody's thinking. Now, for me, I got to be careful, because when I get too confident and too secure, I mow people over. That's not good either. So, personal limitations. Number 6, personal disposition. Your personal disposition. Insecurity results from the way we have coped rather than the way we have healed. In Mark chapter 8, the man that was healed, Jesus put the thing on his eye, and Jesus said to him, what do you see? And he said, I see men as trees walking. Well, he didn't have complete healing. And Jesus had to do more. Some of you are stuck in your insecurities, and you won't do anything about it. I could be insecure, but I don't want to be insecure, because I want to help God accomplish some things while I'm here on this earth. I'm so excited about this talk, because if I could inspire you to forget yourself, some of you might take a Sunday school class. Wouldn't that be exciting, Miss Tracy? Oh, I'm not saying you're supposed to go up to the preacher. Mrs. Walker said I was supposed to come tell you I want to be a teacher, and you're supposed to let me start teaching this Sunday. You're a little too secure. Forget this talk. You don't need this. No, this is for the person that you have a real talent with children. And you say, oh, but I don't know how to talk in front of people. And even though they're children, I do it. That's an insecurity that's going to hold you back. I'm excited because maybe there's somebody here that you have just not began being a soul winner yet, because your insecurities. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. And I'm afraid what they'll think about me. You know what? If they don't think good of you, they'll let you know. I was out soul winning recently, and I went up to the door, and my best smile. Hi, I'm Loretta Walker, and this is my partner, and we're out from such and such a church. And the man said, I do not want to see anything about you. I don't want to hear anything about you. And he shut the door, and I said, I don't think he wants anything. And what the Bible teaches you're supposed to do? I wiped the dust off of my feet on that doormat, and I pranced off the porch. Well, I didn't say any of that. But I didn't sneak off like, oh no, he doesn't like me, Not because I'm so bold, because boldness only comes from the Holy Spirit, but because I'm out there as an ambassador for Christ. Personal disposition. Some of you keep saying, I'm so shy, I can't be a soul winner. You can be a soul winner. Everybody can. You might not have to be the one that's out talking. Do you know I love to take somebody that just wants to be the prayer partner? You probably have people like that in your church. If you don't want to talk, just come with me. I do all the talking. It's fun. And you have people like that in your church, that they're not allowed to go out 2 by 2. Have you ever? I've always thought it'd be fun to go 1 by 1. Except when I get to a door that there's a big burly man there, and I'm thinking, oh, that wouldn't be good. I'm glad there's another person with me, because 2 of us can claim, we can get together, team up together, and beat him up if he tries anything. Remember my dreaming imagination? My feelings. I can really get some things going. Number 7, our culture. What's another reason for cause for insecurity? Our culture. It's the media explosion. Those of you that watch a lot of television, let me just tell you, those people don't look like that when they go home at night. They look like you. I don't think they wear angel stuff around them. But when they get on the television, whoa, they come out of a bandbox. I think, wow, does she always look that good? Or does her lips look, you think all these thoughts. I have had a long-term resentment of Barbie dolls. I don't care how skinny I am never going to go like that. More like, right? Well, some of you feel so insecure because you don't look like, I can't look like those people. What's more, most of them, I don't want to even look like them. Their hair, some of their hairs are, wild-looking people. Sometimes when it's that time when they do those big shows, and they got the outfits on the front cover when you go in the grocery store, I look at those outfits and I think, where's the clothes? And then I try to imagine what I would look like in an outfit like that. Makes me feel insecure. But I'm not supposed to look like that. Can I be honest with you? Brand name clothes makes me insecure. If you're around me and I know you got real expensive clothes on, I just feel like, oh, I don't know if I fit with you. I know you're wondering, what's the brand name of this? I don't know. I got it at the thrift store. $5. Are you like that? You get a deal and you want to tell everybody about it. Now, sometimes you do that because you're insecure. You don't want people to think you spend money. Do you know that? I wouldn't spend money on, I go to thrift stores and I got this, but it's this brand name and I only got it for this much. And that's okay if you're rejoicing because God sent it your way, but if you're doing it because you're insecure and you don't want people to think you spend too much money, well, let's be in touch with what we're saying and why we're saying it. Let's figure out what is making us so insecure and work on it. Lastly, 8 is our pride. Jealousy. If I'm insecure around another human being, most likely it's because I'm not practicing meekness. Because when I look at everybody on the same level, I'm not going to feel funny around them. I'm not going to go around, put my arm around them, act like we're best buds either, But pride, jealousy. If you can think of anybody in your church that you don't really like, is that because you're insecure around them? If you can think of anybody in your church that you like to talk bad about, can I say this? Is that because you're jealous of them for something they own? A certain type of car, a certain type of clothes? Where are we living at? Are we right brain dominated or are we left brain? I want single-minded security. I am really trying this year to be more conscious of what I'm thinking and what's coming out of here after what I think. So, what can we do to fix this insecurity? The Bible. You got to recognize the cause of your insecurity. Is it because of one of these 8 things? Are you digging up things from your past, from your subconscious mind? That brings it out here and it makes you feel insecure, it makes you feel funny, and so then you start talking insecure and you just have to have assurance from a lot of people. Are you the person sitting out there that you're not involved with your church at all? Because I don't think anybody would want me. I don't fit in with. I'm in your churches, ladies, and I see there's a few people doing all the work. That's hard on those few people. And it might seem like they're so confident, they've been doing it for 30 years, they could, well, jump in there and help them. And if you jump in and help them, it'll be 2 of you out there doing that work. If you don't feel secure enough to do it yourself, help them. Be an assistant teacher if the preacher will let you. I want to encourage you to work on the insecurity. God has a purpose for you. He has something he wants you to do. Miss Bonnie, can you go find Brother Tim and my cards? They're out there, the yellow cards. We want to work on our... Bonnie, are you insecure? Because Brother Tim's coming in. Thank you, Brother Tim. Isn't he doing a fine job? He's secure, though. Right, Brother Tim? Yeah, amen. Even though you're in here with all these ladies, I would like to challenge the ladies that are sitting under the sound of my voice. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Brother Josh. Somebody's thinking. He took some cards up there also. We've got some ladies that we've asked to come out, and I'm going to have you come down in a minute, get some of these cards, and we're going to pass them out to the ladies that want them as part of the invitation right now. But you've got to use the Word of God to help fix your insecurity. But you've got to recognize the cause of the insecurity first. You cannot fix anything until you diagnose the problem. If you're sitting under the sound of my voice and you are not an attender of church 3 times a week, that's a big reason why you're insecure. You need church. If you're sitting under the sound of my voice and you only come to church on Sunday morning, you're missing out on a lot. You need the church. You need the preaching. You need to be more involved. You say, but I don't feel comfortable around those. You'll get comfortable after you come more. The first time I went into a fundamental church, oh my, I looked weird. I walked weird. And I'm sure people thought, where did she get off the bus? But you know what? I just knew God wanted me there, so I just kept going until I felt comfortable. I saw those ladies, and they dressed different than I'd ever seen any ladies dress, you know. But I said, you know, I need this, and I can change. Some of you are not teachable enough to want to change, and that's because you're insecure. That's your pride. I'm okay the way I am. No, if you're not involved in your local church, that's not good. It'll just feed on your insecurities. Do you know how fun it is once you've been out soul winning and saw somebody saved? Oh, boy. And do you know how fun it is when you teach a Sunday school class and a light bulb comes on with one of the kids and they finally get saved? Oh, it's so much fun. You're missing out on all this fun, all because you feel insecure. So decide what the cause of your insecurity is, number 1. Number 2 is get in the Bible and help yourself overcome that insecurity. Now, Miss Bonnie, if your ladies will come forward and get these cards. Brother Josh, do we have 2 ladies up in the balcony that are Liberty ladies that'll help? Yes, there's 2 ladies coming to you, Brother Josh. We're going to pass out a card to you, those of you that want it. This card says, I will overcome my insecurities, and number 1, start attending church 3 times a week. Just give one to everybody, because I don't want them to feel funny about raising their hand if they need this. Number 2, I'll get more involved in my local church. Just please give one to everybody, because I don't want anybody to feel funny about this. I don't want you to feel insecure like everybody's seeing me take this card. So, I'd like you to take the card. In a minute, I'm going to pray. And when I pray, I want you to pray and ask God, God, am I holding back you using me because of my insecurity? God, am I holding myself back from being used of you? God, are you speaking to my heart right now because I'm not a 3 to thrive person? You can overcome this if you'll be a tender. I spoke on this recently, and a lady came up to me weeping and said, you know, these ladies drugged me to this meeting, and I didn't even realize that going to church was that important. She went home, and she went back to their motel room, and they had a little revival, and she told the ladies, I didn't know that you'd like me, and it was just a big revealing time for them. This is important. Now, those of you that are secure, and you are the key core people of the church, open your circle. Let's stop judging people and say, oh, she's just lazy. She don't want to do this. Let's don't be that way. Let's just continually open our arms and say, would you like to help us with this project? And if they reject you, just come back again next time. Say, you know, you weren't able to help last time, but that's okay. Would you like to help with this one? Just keep coming. A lot of people, their insecurities is holding them back, and they really almost need someone to beg them to be involved. Now, let's bow our heads and close our eyes. Father, I thank you for these ladies that are here. I pray, Lord, that you'll bless them in a special way. Help us, Lord, to overcome our insecurities. God, we need to be secure in you. And, Lord, there's some ladies here that they cannot survive and cannot overcome their insecurities because they haven't recognized what's causing them, number 1. Number 2 is they aren't teachable enough. Please speak to the hearts of the people right now. Now, with your heads bowed and your eyes closed,